All right, let's dive into one of the best sci-fi endings, maybe ever. We are unpacking that epic, heart-wrenching conclusion to Andy Weir's masterpiece, Project Hail Mary. We're going to get into the impossible choice at the heart of the story, and then we'll look at how this incredible tale is being brought to the big screen. Let's do it. So, picture this. You're at the very edge of the universe. The fate of not one, but two entire species is resting squarely on your shoulders. And you have to make an impossible choice. Do you save all of humanity, the home you can barely even remember, or do you save the only friends you have left in the entire cosmos? Yeah, this is the dilemma that makes the end of this story so unforgettable. But to really understand that final, galaxy-altering choice, you have to understand the man who made it. See, Ryland Grace, he didn't start this thing as a hero, not even close. In fact, he was pretty much the opposite. I mean, just look at this. This slide really captures his entire journey, right? He starts out as a brilliant, but let's be honest, kind of self-interested school teacher, and he becomes this self-sacrificing scientist with the fate of two worlds in his hands. It is a total 180, from outright refusing the mission to, well, embracing a destiny that no one ever could have seen coming.
You know, when the seriously formidable Eva Strat first comes to him, his reaction isn't heroic at all. It's just human. He sees the Hail Mary mission for exactly what it is, a one-way trip. He even tries to use his students as an excuse, saying he's too important as a teacher. But really, deep down, he's just trying to save his own skin.
And here is the absolute kicker. Grace wasn't a volunteer. He was drafted. After the main scientist for the mission dies, Strat decides Grace is the only person who can replace him. When he says no, she doesn't try to convince him, she just acts. She has him drugged and launched into space, totally against his will. So the guy sent to save humanity, he didn't even want to be there. So there he is, all alone in deep space. His crewmates are gone, and then his reluctant journey takes a turn that nobody could have possibly predicted. He makes contact, and this right here is where the story finds its real heart, this incredible interspecies friendship. So the whole reason Grace is out there in the first place is because of this tiny, star-eating microbe called the astrophage. It's literally eating our sun, threatening a new ice age, mass extinction, the whole shebang. But it turns out Earth isn't the only one with this problem. Another species from a planet called Arid is facing the exact same apocalypse, and this just shows their whole journey together. Grace meets an alien from Arid, this amazing spider-like being he ends up naming Rocky. First, they have to figure out how to even talk to each other, which they do through the universal languages of science and math. Then they start pooling their knowledge, their tech, their courage, everything, to solve the astrophage problem as a team. They go from total strangers to being completely indispensable to one another. And that partnership, that friendship, brings us right to the climax of the entire story. They did it. They found the solution, a natural predator that eats the astrophage. They have enough to save both their worlds. It's perfect. But then, Grace discovers a tiny, catastrophic flaw in their plan. It all unravels so fast. The cure, this creature called Taliba, has a fatal side effect. It eats the very material that makes up Rocky's ship, which means Rocky will run out of fuel and just die out there, stranded in space. So Grace is right back to that impossible choice we started with. He can take all the cure and go home to Earth, but he'd be leaving his friend to die. Or he can save his friend, knowing full well he'll never have enough fuel to get home himself. And he makes his choice. He loads the cure into his own probes, shoots them towards Earth, and then he turns his ship around to go save Rocky. And just like that, the man who was forced onto a suicide mission because he was too afraid to die willingly chooses a new one. He gives up his home, his species, his entire world for his friend. But here is the beautiful twist. Grace's selfless act has this incredible, unexpected outcome. By choosing his friend, he doesn't just save one world. He ends up saving two. He makes sure the cure gets to Earth. And by saving Rocky, he guarantees it gets to Eridad, too. The reluctant hero becomes the savior of two entire civilizations. What an ending, right? I mean, just incredible. So now the big question. How do you translate a story with that much internal monologue and high-level science to the big screen? Let's take a look at the adaptation and some of the smart choices the filmmakers are making. Okay, so this slide points to a really key challenge in adapting the book. You have to show, not just tell. In the novel, it's all from Grace's point of view. So we only find out Earth is safe when Rocky tells him. But the movie? The plan is to give us this powerful visual moment. We'll actually get to see an older Eva Strat on Earth receiving those probes. It just makes the victory feel so much more immediate and emotional for us, the audience. And, hey, it looks like Grace gets a much nicer place to live on Eridan in the film, so good for him. Screenwriter Drew Goddard really puts his finger on the fundamental challenge here. The book is so internal. It's all happening inside Grace's head. His thoughts, his fears, his scientific breakthroughs. The real difficulty was taking that intimate, first-person story and blowing it up into this grand, visual, space epic without losing that emotional core. And the director, Christopher Miller, explains their goal perfectly. They wanted the film to do both things at once. Give us that mind-blowing scale of space and alien worlds, but also zoom all the way in on that deeply personal friendship that makes you laugh and cry. It's that balance between the epic and the intimate that's going to make this adaptation really sing. So, we end up here. Ryland Grace, the hero who never wanted to be one, is now this beloved teacher to a generation of little alien children on a world light years from Earth. He found a new family, a new purpose. So the question I want to leave you with is this. If he ever got the chance to go back to the world that forced him on this journey in the first place, would he? And maybe more importantly, should he? It's a fascinating thought to end on.